everybody, it's Glenn, back in this video as 31 horror toys in 31 days continue with the Marvel Universe Blade. And just as well as over the previous few days, my channel has suffered from a vampire infestation, so time they got hunted. Good luck with that, Blade. Now, I'm pretty sure this video marks my first ever Marvel Universe review, the line's absence on my channel explained by it not being my favourite line to say the least, but I'll try and get through this without recoiling like a vampire at the sight of a holy cross. So while not a big fan of the Marvel Universe line, I am a big fan of the Daywalker. Of course, immortalised on the big screen by Wesley Snipes, and if you ever want to argue that comic book movies can be better than their source material, then there's no better defence than the first Blade movie. I originally bought this MU Blade when Hasbro announced the 6-inch scale Marvel Legends one. That was to be a run-in change for the Punisher in a later refresh of the Epic Heroes wave. Of course, that never happened, and that Blade remains unreleased. Yet the seed of the interchangeability of Punisher and Blade began here with the Marvel Universe one, which is largely a reuse of their previously released Punisher. But Blade would have really benefited from not just a new head but also new arms, ones that have some sculpt of fabric creases on them to appear to be the sleeves of his trench coat. As it is, the bulging arms of the Punisher make that trench coat on Blade look sleeveless. Also, with the added weight of the trench coat on his back, it's like you have to pose him slightly leaning forward to counterbalance him. And as we look at the back of his trench coat, you'll notice that hole there. Well, we'll be returning to that in a moment, but first let's look at the head sculpt. Now, there are two kinds of 3 3/4 inch action figures, those that are sculpted 2 up, that's sculpted at twice their size to allow the sculptor to commit a more detailed sculpt and then shrunk down during the tooling process. Then those that are sculpted 1 to 1, that's sculpted in the same scale as the finally released action figure, and you can definitely tell here this falls into the latter category, as it has the broad cartooniness that often results from sculpting in this small scale. However, at least they've sculpted him flashing some fangs. Without those, he'd basically be Morpheus from the Matrix. For accessories, he comes with a sword. This fits into his left hand, albeit a bit of a loose fit. Then to the hole in the back of the jacket, into that we can slide his sword in. We'll get to his articulation in a bit, but let's see if he can grab that sword. Nope, not quite. Then he comes with a gun which fits into his left hand for vampire hunting. Maybe it's loaded with silver bullets. Then it also fits into his right hand. Let's leave it there to add his throwing blade type thing. Definitely movie influence. Super loose fit though. I imagine many of these were lost in deep shag carpets. Then we get this card picturing Blade brandishing his sword and a more traditional vampire hunting wooden stake. A tip of the hat to a pre-Snipes Blade before the comics gave the character the movie makeover. Then the reverse is his superhuman registration act file. Oh, I'm taller than Blade, nice. He has me trumped when it comes to superpowers though. However, I'm only a freak accident away from trumping him back. Now looking at articulation, his head rotates side to side. There's no neck hinge, so no movement of the head up or down. At the shoulder, his arm rotates and it moves up to just more than a right angle to his body. There's rotation at the elbow and then a hinge which moves his lower arm to a right angle to the upper arm almost, and then rotation at the wrist. There's waist rotation, then at the hips his legs move out to the side this much. They move this far forward and then move this far back. There's rotation at the knee and this is also hinged. And then at the ankle his foot is hinged, moving backwards and forwards, and it also rotates but no ankle pivot. Boo. So that's Blade and my first ever Marvel Universe review done and dusted. Stay tuned to 31 horror toys in 31 days, as I'm sure there'll be more surprises up my sleeve. Anyway, click this video to catch up on the previous 31 horror toys project in one convenient, easy to watch playlist, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.